Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to our December 2022 meeting of the Keep Pharr Beautiful meeting. We will begin with item 1A. Roll call, please.
Mari Caballero,
Here.
Richard Carranza,
Present.
Romeo Robles Jr.,
Here.
Frank Santana, Olivia Ramirez.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the board, I need a motion on the floor to excuse or not excuse our absent board member.
Madam Chair, I move that we not excuse anybody that's absent to this meeting today.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor by Mr. Richard Carranza to not excuse our absent board members. Do I have a second on the floor, please? Okay, we've got a second, Miss Olivia, okay, and Miss Olivia Ramirez. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Being that there's no opposition, the motion passes. We go on to our item number 1B, our invocation. Let us silence our minds and open up our hearts to unite ourselves in prayer. Father God, we praise and thank you for all your goodness and graces that are upon us. As well, Lord, we lift up all our crosses to you humbly, asking for your great mercy. As we prepare ourselves for this holiday season, let us rejoice in you and ask you to let us see the many blessings before us. As we end the year, let us be grateful for the opportunity to serve our community of Pharr and allow ourselves to be filled with renewed energy for all that lies before us in 2023. In your name we pray. Amen. We go on to item 2A. Administrative item 2A, approval of minutes for the September 20th, 22 regular scheduled meeting. So at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion on the floor to accept the minutes as read, as printed.
Madam Chairman, I so move.
Okay, I've got a motion on the floor by Mr. Romeo Robles. Is there a second on that motion?
I second that.
Okay, Mr. Carranza seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Being that there's no opposition, the motion passes. The approval of the minutes for 2020 are passed. We go on to administrative item 2B, discussion of the Keep Pharr Beautiful 2022 projects. At this time, I want to just ask, actually just bring Hannah for a moment, if you could come forward just for a moment and just, I know that I don't see any representation from Public Works, right? So I was just wondering if there was anything that you might want to add in reference to, you did a plant project, a giveaway. So if you could just enlighten us on that just a little bit, just quickly.
Yeah, of course. So there have been a handful of projects, but we did a couple of planting days, 2 in November, 1 in December. Both were efforts to beautify the community of Pharr. And actually, they were all at different locations. The first was at the Pharr Vanguard Academy Nature and Birding Center. We restored some habitat in a small area, and I'll talk a little bit more about those details later. We also did a small area at Dr. Long City School Park in more northern Pharr with students from the nearby elementary school. And then finally at the DRC in South Pharr, we invited some health professionals from DHR to do some planting there. We got about halfway done. We're still working on that one. It's a large area.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've done the past couple months.
Very good. Does anybody have any questions for Hannah on that? How big is that, Dr. Long, that park that it's a big space, right?
Dr. Long is a really big space, but the actual site that we chose was right next to some existing native habitat
Okay.
at the elementary school right next to it that was planted by Alan Williams.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a little bit of an expansion of his habitat, so we can allow the public to access it more readily when
Very
school
good.
is out.
Very good. Does anybody have any questions for Hannah? Okay, thank you, Miss Hannah. And I know that you'll come back later and give the full-blown report on everything
Yeah, of
else.
course.
Appreciate it.
I'll keep it short
Thank you.
though.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. All right. I don't have anything else to add on current projects. So with that, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to go on to 2C. Discussion and action, if any, on Keep Our Beautiful logo. Okay. So at this point, I know that we had in the September meeting been shown some potential logos, a revitalization, so to speak, of our logo. And at this point, I would like to invite Ms. Julie, I'm sorry, from our media department to come forward and show us the revamped logos so we can vote on them. Thank you. And then she'll kind of highlight a little bit on them.
Good to see you guys. Good afternoon. I was working in some variations about to change not the colors, but like play around with the elements about the logos that you liked the last time. So there is the examples.
So she tweaked them a little bit, as you can see. And I guess, I don't know, they're not numbered, so to speak. So I guess we would just kind of make a suggestion or recommendation based on the one we like the most. What do you think?
Do we express what,
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Mr. C. What would
Well-
you like to say?
they're all very nice. I personally like the one at the bottom with the, it's not a hummingbird, is it?
It is.
It is? Okay. Then to me, that caught my attention right away. The others are okay. The ones to the right, they look like hands.
Oh, okay. So
That's
you're
the only thing.
the
Yeah, but they're,
so you're
that's
talking
nature,
about like these look like hands.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Mhm.
And this looks more like our maybe an Esperanza
Yeah.
or something more natural,
And it's real,
native.
yeah.
And then the hummingbird, of course, is a takeoff on all things native here.
And I like
And-
the fact that it's more bold also. Where you can
And
read
keep
far.
far, keep far
It's more
is in your face.
Mhm.
Like it's like keep
Yeah.
far,
Yes, it
and
is.
it's beautiful.
bold. And here it gets lost.
Yeah, the one that jumps out is the one with the single circle without the hummingbird. I mean, to me, that one, I
Yeah.
think jumps out a little bit more.
The one on the lower
The lower
left.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? I know Miss Crystal from Public Works was really wanting us to narrow it down to select a logo because she is trying to create a mural. She's got some funding for a mural in one of their buildings. So that was, I kind of promised her we'd have something. But I think that this is a far improvement, no pun intended, from our somewhat antiquated, very busy logo that we've been using. It is more, it's cleaner, it's more progressive, and I tend to agree. I kind of like the ones I like the ones, I favor the ones on the left than the right, but that's me. But it's what you guys, what is visually, because you're the artist,
Mhm.
when these logos are used, when they're used in obviously social media ads, paper ads, newspaper, everything. What would be more like, what would capture the attention?
Like a graphic designer, I want to choose the circle one with the Esperanza flower and the bird on the bottom.
And the bird.
It's more like cleaner, more compact, and you can see or you can say when you see it like, oh, it's Pharr.
It's far, it's native, it's
Mhm.
natural.
Because in the other one that you had before, I remember when I used to start using it, a lot of people told me like, oh, it's like the Esperanza flower. And I said like, but where is the flower? So I'm just see like kind of Hawaiian flower in the
Yeah,
logo.
it looked like a hibiscus. It looked
Yes.
like a Hawaiian kind of like, oh, we're going to the beach or we're advertising something
Yes.
beachy.
So,
And it was very busy. It was very
yes,
busy.
ma'am.
It was very busy. I do tend to lean more towards the circular ones. You know, the bottom two,
Mhm.
but that's just me. Any other ideas from you, Miss Olivia?
I like them both.
Okay.
Either
Mr.
one.
Robles?
Yeah, and I was just thinking based on the comments that, you know, screen printing or however you do it on any material, it's going to be hard to make the detail out.
On the
With the
on the
bird.
bird. Do you think that?
Yeah.
Like, for example, shirts, or because we have this idea of having like tablecloth made, banners, logos. I mean, you can't see you can't even make out what their logo is, and that's the old Keep Our Beautiful logo.
Mhm.
How will that look?
I mean,
I-
just, you know, if you look at the screens and look at them at the different distances from where you're sitting, you know, that to
Yeah,
me,
the bird looks like a
those-
butterfly, or
Well, I mean, and I don't know if it can be made a little larger, but then that would kind of, you know, make it a little bit busier as well.
Okay.
You-
Yeah, I
there-
can work
here
in
you have
the-
space,
Monday?
empty space on the other one too, so either way.
do you think there's too much empty space on
The one
on each
left.
side of the flower?
Um,
And the bird kind of fills that in.
I don't think that is like a lot of empty space
Mhm.
because the flower like is in the is across of the circle.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, if you like that one, I can play in that one different things.
But going back to the original question, will the hummingbird create some sort of a problem in replicating it in social media as well as wearables and stuff like that?
No,
No?
because I fix it in different like formats
You
to do it
you
more
lighten
easier.
it.
Mhm.
The one we see a lot here is the ruby throated or the ruby throated. So maybe it's got a different coloring than this one, right? This one has a red underbelly. This one looks like it. Well, this one,
It's kind of green with red.
I don't know. Well, we're going to need to entertain a motion on the floor to accept or deny or so. What do you think? If we could lighten the bird up somehow, or not,
Yeah, and I
or
can try
omit the
another
bird,
bird.
omit the bird, use the one on the left.
But then we would have another meeting. Approve it.
Yeah.
But we can approve the one on the left right now, right? Is that what you're saying?
We could approve, we need to approve something. And the thing is that I'm not sure if we'd have to meet again to approve the bird. If it's lightened or darkened or,
No, let's just make a decision now.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I will vote for either one. Somebody just needs to make the motion.
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to be the one that says, oh, you're the one that picked.
You're the one that picked the one with the bird, or you're the one that picked the one
Yeah,
without the
I
bird.
remember that you don't like the bird, like from the beginning.
Well, again, just for those listening, the Esperanza is our city flowers, so
Yes,
we
it
were
is.
we were quite inclined to use that as a representation of our logo, a clear representation of our logo. And I know that the input of the hummingbird was because we do have a lot of them that come by here, and some of them actually are here all the time. And it's because of our habitat. I can't speak for all, but I know in my home, they're there. But so yeah, we need to have this serious discussion. Bird or no bird? I think that's the question. Bird or no bird?
Executive session.
Go into executive session.
Well,
Yes, sir.
does it matter to any of you? Because if
I
not,
said either would.
okay, well
I'm
then,
fine-
then
I'm
why
fine
don't,
with both.
then why don't we go with the one without the hummingbird?
Go
I think
without the
that's
bird
It'll be a little bit more neater.
and
know,
cleaner
and cleaner.
no, greener and cleaner.
Oh, did you say that? Yeah.
Well, it's in fine print. I had to squint, but no, it's there.
I mean, that's my
Yes.
suggestion.
Okay. Well, that definitely would, you wouldn't run into the problem later of, well, the bird didn't come out quite the way I wanted it, or the bird didn't quite come out as evident on the screen printing or the embroidery or in the
And
tablecloth.
Another question. Is it those are the colors? In other words, the colors of the letters are gonna stay that way?
You can change it, like depends of the design. Like for example, if it's like Earth Day, we can put like green ones, you know what I mean? But in the original logo, they need to use the city colors.
Okay.
Yeah. That's,
How about
Okay.
the two circles go over here? Or what does that do to it?
I don't, I mean, are you opposed to, two circles, one circle is what Olivia is asking.
Yeah, does that help it in any way? Or?
No.
Oh, okay. Just go single.
So I'm like looking at your shirts and I'm thinking I guess like, for example, Olivia, can you turn sideways? This way. So the Pharr Pride is accented in yellow.
Uh-huh.
And I guess whenever that is a logo proper, right? So if we did this, we'd have to do maybe a white shirt.
Or white letters with the Esperanza flower in yellow.
Or white letters with an S
Mhm.
on blue.
Mhm.
Okay, so what we're really picking right now is what the colors might change due to
Sure.
the shirt, the tablecloth, the banner.
But the logo will be.
But the
The same.
logo is what we're, the style of it, the way it's formatted.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that the proper term?
Yes.
Because do you get it?
Yes, yes.
So it might look different, just color wise. Esperanza can't change those.
No.
Esperanzas are yellow, so they must stay. Now, how will that look on blue?
Well, you've got, on those shirts, you've got the yellow,
Mhm.
and the lettering was yellow as well too.
I'm thinking all we had to do is use a yellow embroidery, maybe circle around the blue to make it pop against the blue.
Yes, yes.
And that would be enough.
And in the inside. That would be
Like,
good.
like, you get the blue on the outside and then yellow around the end.
Yeah, that
Kind of
makes-
like that yellow. See how it's blue on the inside?
Yes.
And then it's the yellow just to offset it.
Mhm.
You don't know how many compliments we got from these old shirts? And I don't know how old they are, but at the annual summer gathering, 4th of July, was it, that we were out there demonstrating composting?
Mhm.
We had people coming up to us going, let me see your shirts. Where'd you get your shirts?
They're so pretty.
Well, they're what, 5 years old or something like that. But we need a new logo because that isn't readable, isn't recognizable. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So, motion on the floor then for a logo. Who wants to put it into words for me, please?
Okay, I make the motion that we pick the lower left hand corner with the changes of the circle around the colors.
Might just
That will-
emphasize a yellow or
The
something,
yellow.
just
Okay.
depending on what we're. So Miss Olivia Ramirez has a motion on the floor to accept the logo that is located on the lower left-hand corner, which simply is the blue circle with Esperanza in the middle, in bold letters, keep Pharr beautiful, greener and cleaner. And it is a clear motion with the option that if needed, there'd be a yellow border around on the outside of that blue circle for embroidery or printing purposes. Do we have a second on the floor?
We surely do, yes.
Mr. Carranza seconds the motion. Praise God. If there, all those in favor?
Aye.
Being that there's no opposition, the motion carries. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
guys.
job,
Thank you.
your well done job, and your input, because you're the expert. We're not.
And we're
obviously.
looking forward to it.
Yes. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And you will thank Yuri also,
Okay,
please.
I will.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Happy
Thank you so
holidays.
much. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. Then we move on with there being nothing else for administrative item 2C. We move on to item 2D, announcements from building and code compliance.
Hello, my announcements are a bit brief.
That's okay.
Due to weather, we were unable to arrange our elderly assistance program, but we do look forward to who we can help in starting in January. In conjunction with Public Works and also PD, we have started to put signs to take out the illegal dumping. They have QR codes, so every time we go by there, we're going to be scanning them to let our department and PD and whoever else will be involved with that know that we've checked those areas. And the more frequent that we do check those areas, Public Works will be assisting us in taking care of that area. We're also going to be holding the property owners accountable for cleaning up the area as well. Illegal dumping is just something we're trying to tackle, but it's just something that has become overwhelming, and we're just trying to involve as many departments as we can to take care of it. So, and that's the issues that we're taking care of right now.
Very, very good. And you're gonna, like you say, in January, hopefully go back to the elderly assistance program. And that
Yes.
is done every
We do it once a month.
second or third week, I believe.
It's the third week of the month.
Yes, third week of the month.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to try to incorporate more properties. Because before we were doing 2, and now we're going to try to do at least maybe 3 to 5,
Okay.
if not more, depending on the volunteers that we can get to
Sure,
assist us
sure,
with
sure,
that.
sure. And then are you still doing the, oh my God, the address signs for the elderly?
Currently, we are not, but we do want to start undertaking that again.
Okay, so that was something
Mhm.
that you were interested in.
I'm on the list.
Elderly. All right, very good. Does anybody have any more questions for her? We're good? All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Look forward to next month,
Thank you.
and happy holidays. All right, next we have announcements from Parks and Recreation. Ms. Hannah, you're on.
Alrighty, good evening, everybody. My name is Hannah Marble. I am the urban ecologist with the City of Pharr Parks and Recreation Department. And I'll try to keep my announcements concise as well. Also, if you need any help with volunteers as well, I'm more than happy to kind of help coordinate some of the groups that I have in the past, because I've got a nice, robust volunteer base. So just let me know, and we can kind of work that out as well, depending on your needs. So yeah. So just very briefly, most of my time has been taken up with this big beast of a habitat restoration project that I briefly spoke on earlier. In October, it was all site preparation and our Halloween event at the Pharr Vanguard Academy Nature Park and Birding Center. And with the help of the 2 interns that I did have from UTRGV, I was able to kind of work on that. As well as with our maintenance team from Parks and Recreation. They helped immensely with preparing the sites through tilling, weed removal, and making sure that the compost that we got delivered was spread appropriately. So that was all throughout October and the first half of November. I've also done a handful of outreaches at Estero Llano Grande State Park in Weslaco, I attended their Spooky Science Fest. They saw about 3,000 people. It was a hectic night, but it went really well. It's always a very successful event and it's a lot of fun. It's their annual Halloween kind of get together. Moving on to November is when I actually started to do these planting days. And the very first one was at the Pharr Vanguard Nature Park. And they were students from the nearby elementary school, Kelly Pharr. And that was co-coordinated between myself and Alan Williams with PSJ ISD, who I know you know very well. And we got very overzealous and saw about 200 kids that were pre-KK first and second graders. It was a little bit beyond our capacity, but with Alan Williams' help, we were able to kind of take some of the kids on a nature hike while some of the other kids planted. And we sort of rotated it back and forth. And about halfway through, some of our other Parks and Rec supervisors came and they assisted with bringing more plants to make sure we were able to accommodate that many kids. And we did have water and snacks sponsored by Driscoll Health Plan as well. Alfred Molina, who works with them, works a lot with the community and getting some funding for a lot of projects. So yeah, that was the first planting day. Crazy experience, but a lot of fun. Those kids at that age, they just want to touch the plants. So it was cool that some of them got to plant them. Our second planting day was a week later at Dr. Long City School Park. We had 40 fifth graders and they planted about 130 plants over at Dr. Long. And again, like I mentioned, it's sort of an extension of the habitat that we have there already at the elementary school. That's right behind that silver gate. And it was a lot of fun. We were able to also get our media team out there to do some interviews, and hopefully in January we'll have a completed video to show you guys. We interviewed a teacher, myself, Alan Williams. Even some of the kids were excited to be in front of the camera, so it was really cool. Also in November, the interns from UTRGV completed their 100 hours. They joined us for our Parks and Recreation Thanksgiving luncheon, and I said adios, thank you. Give me a call if you want to volunteer some more. But they were incredible. Christian Saldana and Maria Rios were wonderful. They come at a high recommendation for any future position anywhere. So yeah. And we also proclaimed the Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day on November 7th during our Monday Commissioners meeting. And yeah, so we also did that in November. And then finally in December, I had another planting day about 2 weeks ago. We had a smaller group of healthcare professionals from DHR. And they were planting at the DRC in South Pharr. It was only about 7 adults, and then we also had 4 of our part-time Parks and Recreation staff assisting with that. But they were very encouraged by the cloudy morning and they got a lot done. We got about 200 plants in the ground, spread across a large area. We are going to go in and continue to fill in. This is kind of just phase 1. In a larger area like that, you kind of got to spread it out and then fill in as needed as things start to kind of grow and move around. So hopefully with the coming freeze, we'll be able to protect everything appropriately. And then finally yesterday, we proclaimed Arbor Day and we completed our application to become a Tree City USA for the 3rd year in a row. I know that City of Pharr has been doing it for more years than just 3, but this is our 3rd consecutive year. So we'll get a nice little plaque to put up at the front of the city and at the nature park. Last thing now that I'm kind of bringing up the nature park is that with the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, we did also start on a mural at the nature park. So if anyone wants to go see some huge, beautiful monarchs and look at how they migrate from South America all the way to Canada, that's being worked on right now. It's a really cool art piece. So yeah, that's kind of what I had going on. Trying to keep it abbreviated. I didn't bring photos this time because I know that if I did, I would be like, oh my God, listen to this story about the kids at the park. But in January, I'll bring some pictures to show you guys and there'll be some more stuff going on. So yeah.
And tell us again the location of the mural that you're working on for the Monarch.
The location of the mural is the Pharr Vanguard Nature Park and Birding Center, sorry. It's on the restroom facilities at that park because those are beautiful restrooms. They're all really well maintained and it's completely wrapping around the walls of the restroom. So as soon as you drive in, you'll see a monarch. when you stand at the front of the building, looking at it long ways, you'll see two beautiful murals. And then on the opposite end, facing the trail side, there's a pair of wings that you can stand in the middle of to take photos and stuff like that. So it
That's
looks really cool.
That's really awesome.
It's incomplete still, but it should be finished by mid-January.
Just think of how busy this young lady has been.
Yes,
I was
yes.
counting, okay, volunteers, you had 200, and then you had, how many trees did they plant? 200 kids.
Yeah.
And how many trees were planted that seedling?
Gosh, I don't even
And
know.
then you had 40 students at Dr.
Mhm.
Long, and
They had
how many did you
130.
plant?
About 130 plants. Yeah.
130 plants. And then she had, at DRC, she had seven adults and then four
Part-timers.
part-timers, and then they planted another 200.
Mhm.
No, I'm just like, whoa. Now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Will you be on this intern list? Will we have an opportunity to vie for more interns in the spring? Or is this a
Yes.
season, like a yearly thing where it's just once a year?
So
or-
it's a semesterly thing, and I might even have the opportunity for a short semester during the summer. So the internship program is through UTRGV, and they're actually getting course credit in exchange for their 100 hours of internship. And when they come in, they do an interview with myself to sort of mimic a more formal interview that they would
Yes.
have in the field. At the end of the day, the goal is to give them the most knowledge and experience that they can get, as opposed to having them like do my job for me, which is why they're an intern instead of a volunteer, right? So that's why they go through that process. So we are getting 2 more for the spring semester.
Praise God.
We just got them approved by the professor, Dr. Fierro at UTRGV. So I'm excited to have them. And I really wish the ones for this semester could have attended the board meetings. They're interested in coming back. So I'm going to kind of like invite them every couple months. So hopefully we'll get a chance to meet them as well.
This is invaluable. I mean, it's a win-win. Talk about a learning experience for them. And then the value for our community to have them here. My God, they can, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
great program.
And Hannah, I must say that you're working with all these young people in the elementary schools is a big plus, because from our experience as master gardeners, when we work with some of the children, they have had no experience in gardening, and you tell them, let's do this. They have no idea. They might as well put the potted plant upside down
Yeah.
because they lack the experience from home. So what you're providing, that experience for them, is invaluable. And we appreciate you and your staff members doing that for the young citizens of Pharr.
Certainly, yeah. They're a lot of fun and they have lots of potential. So yeah, I love working with kids. Yeah.
Hannah, could you give us the highlights of the meeting you had with that metal
yeah.
fabrication
Shapiro.
company?
Yeah.
Oh, with Shapiro Metals, yes. Oh gosh, was it last
I
week or
really
2
wanted to
weeks
make that
ago?
meeting,
It
but I
was a
out of
couple of
town.
weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
So there's an individual, Robert Zavala, who works for Shapiro Metals down in South Pharr. It's a really big company, and their higher ups at their corporate level are very interested in becoming more involved with the communities that their businesses are in. So they reached out to our Economic Development Corporation to discuss ways that they can become part of the Chamber of Commerce. So I attended a meeting with her because they have an interest in providing labor and help and even possibly machinery to move things around. So that's briefly what was discussed. I mentioned the restoration program. I mentioned Crystal's program at Public Works, the trash bashes that they have. I know they could always use more manpower. So that's the majority of what came of it. It was just a brief summary of what Crystal and I do. She didn't attend the meeting, but I kind of spoke for her, hopefully, with
I'm
good
sure
graces,
she was
of
well
course.
represented.
Yes. So hopefully in the near future, we'll get some volunteers from their organization in a really, really good capacity to kind of give back to the city of Pharr. So yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I wonder if they manufacture composters.
That'd be
Oh,
really
that's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah. They are looking for one thing that was discussed. They're looking for a larger space. They're outgrowing their current warehouse that they have. So I think they're looking for, what was it, like 50,000 square feet or something like that. So they're growing and they have the resources. So that's something we can bring up in the future.
Anyway, continue to keep us in the loop on that. 'cause
Yeah.
Of
I'd
course.
be interested in meeting.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Again, I want to thank you, Hannah, for thinking of us when these meetings come around,
Mhm.
or, including us. It was I know, kind of like a difficult time, but I, again, really appreciate that you think about us and inviting us to come along through the journey,
Yes.
because that just helps us also. I mean, we're all together, one team, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I really appreciate that. Anybody have any more questions for Ms. Hannah? Well, I just want to say congratulations with, my husband came home last night going, well, we declared Arbor Day, and last month he came home, he says, Monarch Pledge, check.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing what you're doing, and I appreciate it. And
Thank
I
you.
know the committee is,
We're grateful for all the work you do for the city and for us.
yes.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
Anybody else have any questions for Ms. Hannah? Thank you, Ms. Hannah.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
Thank you guys. Have happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. All right. I don't think there's anyone from Public Works here today. So
David Carrillo was here,
he was?
but he left. He said he was going to speak for Joe.
Really? I wonder what happened.
Who was that?
David Carrillo was here.
Something.
The-
He said Joe has.
Oh, no, but Public Works. David's
Oh.
with PD. All right. Well, we're going to then move on to administrative item 2E. Any board comments, please, at this time? We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. Well, then, being that there's no more comments, I guess we get to adjourn. But before I ask no, I just want to thank everyone. I wanted to bless you and thank you for everything you do for the city of Pharr. Very grateful to be called the city of Pharr my home, and knowing that we have the city staff that we have. We've seen you out there. We've seen you on social media. We've read about you. And I can't say enough about how grateful I am that I live in Pharr. I talk to people up and down the valley and the Rio Grande Valley, and they see and they hear what's going on in Pharr. I was talking to someone from the island, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, but y'all in Pharr, you're doing this and that." And I was amazed. This is Cameron County, this is South Powder Island, and she knew what we were doing over here. Another young lady, she's an administrator over at Knapp Medical Center. I had the privilege of sharing, of breaking bread with her, and she too was like, "Oh, you have this place and you have that place, and I love going to this place, and oh, in your city park." And then I was exiting the Basilica the other day after Mass on Sunday, ran into an acquaintance that I hadn't seen in a while, and he said, "Oh my God, who do we need to thank for the beautiful downtown park and how it's beautifully decorated for the season, for the Christmas season?" I took my grandchild there. And who do I need to call and thank? And I was like, and they don't live here. This person, yeah, we were in San Juan at the Basilica, but they don't live in Pharr. They don't even live in San Juan. But anyway, I could go on, and But I am very grateful, and I praise and I thank our Lord for all the good people that wake up in the morning and they are part of Team Pharr, and they come and they with pride they serve our community, and with they humbly serve our community, and I just I'm very grateful to them. And so I many blessings to all of you and your families, and that I wish all but the very best for the coming year for all of you. And I look forward to the next year and us continuing to work together and forging forward and helping to move the city, above and beyond where it's at now, if that's possible. But I will end it with that. So thank you. And with that, I ask for a motion on the floor to adjourn this meeting.
Madam Chairman, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Robles. I need a second, please, on the floor. So Ms. Olivia Ramirez seconds the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, being that there's no opposition to this meeting is adjourned. So thank you, and may you go home safely and have nothing but goodness and peace. God